existing market? Well, the customers, well, they're known. We know who they are. They exist. The customer needs, well, we could ask them, what do they really care about for gains and pains? They could tell us. Competitors, by definition, they're many. Your risk, well, your risk is lack of branding, lack of sales, lack of distribution, and unfortunately, sometimes your product really doesn't live up to the claims. Example, Google. It's an existing market. Go ahead and try to enter the search business today. There's a dominant player in search. Again, a little further definition. In an existing market, incumbents exist. Customers can name the market. Customers want or need better performance, and it's usually a technology-driven play. Positioning is driven by the product and how much value customers place on its features. The risks in an existing market is thinking that the incumbents are dumb. Typically, incumbents, unless they're large corporations that are falling asleep, will defend their turf. Remember the network effects of an incumbent. It might mean that it's not only about their product, but it might be all the ancillary services and third-party offerings they have in their catalog. And remember, just as you're focused on innovation, most incumbents are focused on innovation. So before you jump into an existing market, you need to take a look at the innovation rate of the incumbents. Now, one of the interesting things is trying to figure out what sales look like and what's the adoption rate in a new market. It turns out one of the interesting curves for startup companies is a technology lifecycle adoption curve popularized by Jeff Moore in a book called Crossing the Chasm. And Moore postulated that there was a gap, a chasm, between visionaries and the mainstream and pragmatic and conservative market. It turns out, though, in an existing market, that chasm between these early adopters and the mainstream is very small or non-existent. Because if you're right entering an existing market, your sales curve, the spreadsheet you're putting together for your revenue, if you get it correctly, should look just like this. You're taking market share from incumbents from day one. In an existing market, if customers react to your hypotheses that what they needed was higher performance and you were correct, this is your revenue curve. Congratulations. So one last thing, and we've been avoiding bringing this up until now, but it's something you as an entrepreneur should know. It's a secret. And it's a secret that we didn't even understand for a long time. And that secret is there are 4 types of startups. And not knowing which type you are can really sink your company. So we call this market type. It turns out that there really are 4 types of markets for startups. One is existing market. Another is where you take a segment or re-segment an existing market. Another is a new market, and another is a clone market. So let's take a look why this is important, and then we'll give you the definition of each one. It turns out that the type of market changes everything. It changes your initial market size, how much it costs to enter the market, what kind of launch you do of your product. It affects the type of competitive barriers you have, and how you position or describe your product. It affects your sales model. Are you going to hire direct sales? When do you hire them? What kind of margins you should have or profit? How long it takes, that is the sales cycle, and something called the chasm width, which we'll take a look in a second. It also affects how much money you're going to need to raise and how long it takes to get to profitability. And then finally, it affects the types of customers and what their needs are and how long it takes to adopt. So one of the things this looks like is just a checklist of market type seems to affect everything. What the heck can it be? So let's go a little further and define it.